Hello, Falcons fans. Welcome to the final mock draft of the 2009 pre-draft season. I am J. Michael Moore. You might recognize me from J. Mike's Missives and AtlantaFalcons.com. And over the past 7 or 8 weeks, I have gone through and given out some different scenarios about how the first round of the 2009 NFL draft may go, with particular attention paid to the Atlanta Falcons and what player could fall to number 24 and what player could fit team needs. And one thing we've established pretty early on, and I hope everyone agrees with me, and it's okay if you don't. It's pretty easy to do that these days. Ask my wife. But anyway, look at the number 24 pick and think about the Falcons team needs, and there's going to be a player there at number 24 that fans can like. Talk to Thomas Dimitroff, talk to Mike Smith, talk to a lot of decision makers in this building, and they stress flexibility and they stress kind of seeing the whole draft play out over time. And when you look at that number 24 pick, there's going to be a linebacker there, perhaps. There's going to be a defensive tackle there. There may be a safety there. If you go first round in the safety, there'll be a tight end there, another position that a lot of people have said is an area of need. There's going to be cornerbacks there. There's going to be all of those players there to choose from. And Thomas Dimitroff earlier this week, which is draft week, said, you know what, we're not going to be a team that's going to take the quote-unquote best player available, but we are going to be a team that's going to take the best player available when they meet team needs. So didn't tip his hand. Offense, defense could be either one, but for the sake of argument, we're going to go through this mock draft and we're going to pick a guy, as I said earlier, with a surgical approach to say this is the way the draft may look, and not so much about scenarios and what if A happens, then B, then C. So started at 1 with Matt Stafford. Now went from there, got to the number 24 pick, and the selection is Darius Butler, cornerback out of UConn. Now, I had Darius Butler as the pick a few weeks ago, and I got to be honest, he's a guy I really like from watching a little bit of clips on him and watching a few UConn games, actually catching them on ESPN and the like during the season. It's a guy that compares, in my mind, to Dominique Foxworth, corner who the Falcons ended up only having for 1 year after a trade with Denver. But he came in, he was a starter, got an interception, played very well, forced a lot of balls over Chris Houston's way. That's what you want to see, guys who can make teams throw away from them. But he gets a good deal in Baltimore, goes home. He played at Maryland, so happy for Dominique. But the Falcons have a hole there that they have to figure out, whether it's somebody on the roster. Brent Grimes started the season at that position. He's still here. Chevis Jackson was drafted last year, came in and played nickel. He could jump to the outside, or you draft a guy. And that's a position where you do see a lot of position battles and where it's okay to have depth. So if people are going to say, the Falcons are okay there, perhaps, maybe they are, but it's okay to fight for positions there, especially when most teams will be in a nickel package or 3 cornerback packages for 60% of the time, depending on who they play. So Coach Smith talked about Chevis Jackson being a starter last year, even though he wasn't listed in the quote-unquote starting lineup. So it's going to be a very, very important position moving forward this year, and that's one reason why I picked Darius Butler in this slot. Now let's go through and talk about some of these other positions of need and maybe why the pick wasn't there, because defensive tackle on the board here when I made this selection, Evander Hood was on the board, a guy a lot of people really like, a guy who could be a good defensive tackle in this league. I think will be a good defensive tackle in this league, but in my mock draft I didn't go that direction. Well, look at the Falcons. They lose Grady Jackson, who's that big run-stopping, run-stuffing type tackle, just a really big body. Insert Grady Jackson joke here. Well, he's gone. He goes to Detroit. And then you've got Jonathan Babineau, who re-signed in the middle of the season. Team really likes him. Played very well. Good pass-rushing defensive tackle, but can also do some different things around blocking the, getting into the run game and stuff like that, freeing up linebackers. So I looked at that and I said, Vanderhood, Pierre Jerry, they remind me a lot of Jonathan Babineau in that way. So then you got a guy like Trey Lewis, who's coming back off of injury, guy who can be that nose tackle type, very big guy, actually bulked up a little bit during his rehab because he was able to really hit the weight room. So coaches really like him, stuck around for the season, and even though the team did make some changes there at that position when the new GM and coaching staff came in. So you got Trey Lewis there. He's all right to start. All of a sudden that hole at defensive tackle doesn't really look like a hole because Trey Lewis does have starting experience from his rookie year. Let's jump back to linebacker. The team signed Mike Peterson to come in, and you can think that he can replace one of those spots there vacated by Keith Brooking or Michael Boley in free agency. Curtis Lofton, Started from day one as a rookie. He's still around. And then you've got Stephen Nicholas, who coach has been trying to get on the field for quite a while. He came in 3-3-5 packages to rush the passer last year, got his first career sack. So he's a guy who you think is going to be given a chance to compete. I talked to him about it earlier on this offseason. He's very excited about that. He's a very excitable guy, a guy you want to see at that weak side linebacker position running around and making plays. So you've got some options there already on the roster. You go back to safety where Lawyer Malloy is gone. You've got another option. You can move Eric Coleman into strong safety, put Thomas DeCoux at free safety, put Thomas DeCoux, a rookie last year, at strong safety. Or you can do as Thomas Dimitroff said at the Combine, really look for those interchangeable safety types. And that's what the Falcons will probably be looking to build, in my mind, as I look at this roster and look at what the whole league as a whole is trying to do to make safeties interchangeable to where you don't know where the blitz is coming from, and you can do some different things in pass coverage. So safety's that one position, again, Thomas DeCoux going into his second year, where maybe you look to address, but you have a rookie coming in, competing with a second-year player. You're still probably going to be young there, and there's a lot of good safeties who are going to fall into the second round. Rashad Johnson of Alabama being one, and in my mock, Lewis Delmas of Western Michigan actually going to be falling in to the second round as well. So they're going to be sticking around. A little bit more about Darius Butler, 5'10", 183 pounds, a very willing and most time able tackler against the run. Again, he reminds me of Dominique Foxworth. Isn't going to punish people with his hits, but he is going to get in there and mix it up. A 4-year starter, a 2-time team captain, very consistent over his career, 10 picks over the first 3 years of his career. He's also very versatile, played some offense. So smart guy, adept in size and both experience to play man or zone coverages. And I think would be a good complement in this defense. Can do a lot of different things, whether it be a nickel, whether it be as a reserve, whether it be as a starter, wherever he may come in, if, again, this mock draft scenario holds true. So another disclaimer, this is totally my opinion that I've been talking about, even though I am in the building here in Flowery Branch. This is just me looking across the board, looking at defenses across the board, looking at offenses across the board, looking at all the teams in the NFL, and trying to figure out and make an educated guess about the way things may look on draft day. Thanks again for keeping up with the mock drafts on the blog, and be sure to tune in to AtlantaFalcons.com on draft weekend, where we're bringing you some new type footage, some live coverage, some live video streaming going on the website, where we'll jump in for interviews, upload some interviews with Falcons personnel after they make picks, and also log on to AtlantaFalcons.com/Twitter to find out how you can follow us on Twitter, where we actually will be revealing the draft pick as it's being called in to New York. So a good couple of minutes before you even see it on TV, follow us on Twitter, you'll know who the Falcons are picking. Again, happy draft week, happy draft day, happy mock draft 7.0. Thanks again.